Oh, hello! My name is Mara, and welcome to Books Like Woe. So I've been seeing a video going around a lot in the last couple of weeks about end of the year TBR. And this is the idea of like, okay, what have I not gotten to yet this year reading wise that I wanted to get to? And it was definitely a moment of sort of some self-reflection, some self-honesty, some like real talk with myself, because I had some plans at the beginning of the year that I don't think have fully come to fruition. That being said, I think I did better with setting like a kind of year TBR than I might have guessed I would do, just because I'm somebody in general who doesn't necessarily like trying to pick a TBR because I'm such a mood reader. But anyway, so I was sort of looking at what my plans were versus where I was at. And like I said, I did better than I thought, but I'm still like behind where I wanted to be. So I thought I would kind of just go over like, what are the books that I thought I was going to get to in 2018 that I don't think that I'm going to, and like are just going to keep rolling over on my TBR, versus what are the things that I actually right now, based on like kind of current mood, want to get to. And slight disclaimer, I think by the time this goes up, I will have had at least a week or two of extra reading. So there's a chance you may have seen me already talk about one of these books if I get to it by the end of November. So like there's some time traveling weirdness in this video, so please excuse that. But I just thought I'd kind of go over what the plan was versus what I think I will actually get to by the end of this year, what I hope I will actually get to by the end of this year. So let's start with some of the ones that I had planned to get to and don't think that I will. So I had to get a new bullet journal kind of the last 3 months of this year. So I rolled over my I want to read list with the ones that I had not yet read at that time. So the ones that I have not yet read that I plan to read at the beginning of this year that I don't think I'm going to include An Allegiance of Honor by Nalini Singh, Silver Silence by Nalini Singh, and Ocean Light by Nalini Singh. If you watch this channel, you know that's an ongoing joke because I keep trying to read these books and keep not. I will say Allegiance of Honor, I'm going to put an asterisk by. I would like to get to that first one of those three by the end of this year. So you know what? Maybe even I'll just put a pin in that. We'll make that the plan to get to that first one. Another one that I didn't get to this year that I bought when it was first released, and I don't think I'm going to get to it this year, is Feel Free by Zadie Smith. Very sadly. Housekeeping by Marilyn Robinson is one that I've been meaning to get to it for a very long time. I actually read the first few chapters of it at some point and got distracted because I am a goldfish and like it takes nothing to distract me from a book. So that was one I wanted to get to that I don't necessarily think I will. Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck was one I wanted to get to this year, and there's actually a chance that I may still do that. We'll see, because it's so short, so maybe. Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I think that I'm going to roll Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom into a plan for next year to read those. Dr. Olaf von Schuler's Brain by Kirsten Minzer Anderson is the book that has been on my TBR the longest. Still didn't get to it this year. Still don't think I will. So it will roll over into my 2019 plans. Cold Comfort Farm by Stella Gibbons. I may put that on my classics challenge for next year. Or, I mean, it sounds good. There's a chance that I might get in the mood to read that kind of over Christmas. We'll see. But for right now, there's not a plan to read it. The Decline and Fall of the British Aristocracy by David Cavendish, or Carradine. David Carradine. I really wanted to read that as a part of Project Poirot. And because I'm starting Mission Marple in the middle of January, I think I may just go ahead and like put that again on my 2019 list to read as like a nonfiction companion to that. So maybe Becoming Wise by Kristen Tippett. That was a gift from a friend of mine last year that I meant to read this year and didn't. I love giving books as gifts, and I also love getting them as gifts, but I'm also I'm such a mood reader that I let them sit on my TBR for a long time and then I feel guilty. Whatever. The Web of Life by Fridtjof Capra was another gift from a friend that I plan to get to this year and haven't yet, that I really would like to, so I need to put that in the mix somewhere sometime soon. I feel really bad about that. And it sounds really good. That's the other thing. Sleeping Beauties by Stephen and Owen King. I bought that book last fall and still have not read it, and I don't think I'm going to get to it this year, so that's too bad. And then Vicious by V.E. Schwab was one that I wanted to get to this year, and I actually started trying to read it and wasn't in the mood for it, so I decided to kind of let it roll a little while. We'll talk about another Schwab book that I am going to finish this year, and that whole scenario is part of what is influencing me not getting to Vicious. So those are all the books that I wanted to get to that I don't think I'm going to, though I will tell you that when I made this list originally, it had even more from my previous version. I added a couple of things in this. So I did, you know, I think by the time things are said and done, I will have gotten to, I think, about half of the 30 books I said I wanted to get to in 2018, which for a mood reader, pretty darn good, but not complete. So here's what I think I actually am going to try to get done by the end of this year. So a book that was on that little list I was just reading to you that I'm in the middle of and therefore will finish by the end of the year is Not That Bad by Roxane Gay. This is good. This is not easy reading, so it's taking me a while to sort of slowly get my way through it. But this definitely, I think, will get read by the end of the year. Actually, by the time you're seeing this, I may have already finished it. So this is one of them. Another two that are kind of in progress and I want to finish by the end of the year. So I started on A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab. And by now, I think you guys have probably seen me ranting about A Gathering of Shadows and like this trilogy in general. Suffice it to say, I kind of just want to be done with this and kick the dirt off of my feet from it because I was really annoyed by the second book. And I'm actually, from what I've read of this so far, I think I'm about like maybe 100 pages in. So far, I am liking this far better than the first two, but because of that whole experience, that's a part of why I do not feel compelled to get to Vicious as soon as maybe I would have otherwise. The other one is a long time ago, I read probably a third or a half of the Moonstone, really enjoyed it, and then misplaced my copy and did not finish it. I really wanted to finish this book this year, and it's one that I was enjoying. It's like an text of the mystery genre, so I really, really would like to finish this year, so that is definitely high priority for me to get to that. So 4 other physical books that I want to get to. Because of the little reread we were just doing of that list, I'm officially going to say that I really would like to at least read this one book by the end of this year so that I've made some progress in the Side Changeling series. And I think once I start this, it will like kind of re-energize me to keep going. So I'm going to say that I want to finish that this year. The Witch Elm by Tana French. Now again, by the time you guys are seeing this, Tome Topple is already over, and this was my second pick that I picked for Tome Topple. So I'm definitely hoping that this is one that I have gotten to by the end of the year, because I'm hoping even by the time you've seen this video that I've gotten to it. And then 2 YA picks in physical form that I hope I get to, or 1 middle grade, 1 YA. Middle grade, AKATA Witch by Nnedi Okorafor. This is, I think, going to be just like a real cozy read, and I can see this being sort of like a good end of the year kind of like palate cleansey type book. Then A Heart in the Body of the World by Caletti. I don't think this will be a light YA read based on the subject matter, but I would really like to go ahead and read this just because I'm really intrigued by it. So yeah, that definitely, in terms of physical books, I think those are the ones that I'm hoping I'll get to. In terms of audiobooks, aside from like anything that I might get from the library, I really would like to go ahead and finish Fear by Bob Woodward. I've had a real hard time getting through it just frankly because of the subject matter. It's very hard for me to listen to very, very much of it at a time. But it's an important book. I want to go ahead and polish it off this year. And I think that's doable. I have 2 audiobooks out from the library right now. So that plus Fear, I think, would round out what I could realistically get to in terms of audio. So that's my audio pick. And then 2 picks for just like something light. I have 2 arcs that I'm hoping that I will get to by the end of the year just because of when they're coming out. So one is, I think it's called The Earl I Tempted or The Earl I Ruined by Scarlett Peckham. And she's a newer historical romance writer to me, but I've seen some really intriguing reviews of the first book she had, which was The Duke I Tempted or The Duke I Ruined. I can't remember which is which. But anyway, I've heard good reviews about that. So I went ahead and got the arc for the second one. And so I'm hoping I find a new historical romance author that I like. And then I also have The One You Fight For by Roni Loren, which is the 3rd in a series of romances about a group of people who survived a shooting at their high school prom. And so I really, really like where that series has been going. It's really well written and handles that subject matter, I think, surprisingly well, given that it is commercial fiction. So I really enjoyed the first one. So I have an arc of the next one that comes out at the beginning of 2019. So those are the other 2 that's like the lightest stuff that I'm hoping that I will get to before the end of the year. So yeah, I think in the beginning of 2019, I'm going to do a full video kind of evaluating how I did on the goals I set myself for 2018 versus the reality. But this is sort of like a good like precursor to that to see if I can make some progress on some of those goals and get through these last few books that I want to. When I'm filming this, I have, I think, about 6 weeks left in the year. So what I described, I think, is really achievable given my rate of reading. Like, I think I could get to all of these plus a couple of library books. So I'm hoping that I can kind of make this is like a good variety. These are all books that I'm excited about, so I should be able to get to these. We'll see what happens, but that's at least what I'm hoping / what the plan is. So anyway, you know, if you watch my channel a lot, you know I rarely do a TBR, but I felt like this was kind of one that was close enough to mood reading that I could potentially maybe actually stick to this. So we'll see how I do by the end of the year. But anyway, those are the books that are kind of on my radar for what I'm hoping to wrap up here in the next few weeks. Hope you enjoyed it. And you know, definitely let me know if you've got any books that you definitely want to try to get to by the end of this year, and like if you think it's actually going to happen. Definitely let me know that in the comments. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, follow me on the social medias if you are so inclined. I have all that information listed in the description box below. And I think that will do it. I hope you're having a really lovely day, and I will just talk to you soon. Bye.